Welcome to this 4 to 5 on this Thursday. I'm Sydney here with Eric, Claire, and Hunter. Good afternoon to all of you.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
We'll talk about a forecast in a minute. We're hoping for rain, right? Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little sprinkle Friday night. I'll get into it a little bit later.
All right, we'll talk more about that. But first, we begin with a pair of developing stories across the Piedmont Triad. The first in Greensboro, where we got an update from police in the deadly shooting at a Dudley High School football game.
GPD Chief John Thompson says investigators have identified 2 suspects in the case and says once they are arrested, more information will be released. Now, the update comes as several city leaders and first responders from the fire department to community relations gathered in downtown Greensboro for a public safety presentation. Some of the topics that were addressed were crime, violence, and prevention. The meeting is wrapping up now. We will tell you what comes from it coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5.
We're also on top of an investigation in Pilot Mountain. Just this afternoon, the police department announced Chief Robbie Jackson's resignation. It comes after an investigation was launched by the SBI looking into allegations of fraud within the police department. Town leaders said this all stems from a long pattern of misconduct and corruption, starting with Chief Jackson and other members of the department. The fraud scheme involved the manipulation of off-duty employment agreements with the nonprofit Pilot Mountain Unite. This led to some members of the department benefiting financially.
The town of Pilot Mountain expects our local government to act as good stewards of the trust and resources of the citizens and to act honorably and ethically to serve their best interests.
As a result of the investigation, the town announced personnel actions against 4 members of the police department, including Chief Jackson. Pilot Mountain Detective Adrian Tillotson was appointed as the interim chief of police. Another police department in the Piedmont Triad is also under investigation by the SBI. State investigators would not say why they've been looking into the Madison Police Department or share any more details at this time. But the SBI says it doesn't want to jeopardize the investigation. The Madison police chief said there is a captain on paid leave for an internal investigation, but it's unclear if the issue is what the SBI is looking into.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. An Eden bar owner now faces charges in connection to a deadly shooting. Tina Lawson owns the Rabbit Hole venue where a man was shot and killed last month. Eden police arrested Lawson after a joint investigation with North Carolina alcohol law enforcement. She's charged with 2 felonies for accessory to murder after the fact and aiding the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. ALE also obtained warrants against Lawson for conduct violations on her property. Lawson is being held on a bond at the Rockingham County Detention Center.
Release has been denied for a convicted Capitol rioter from the Triad. Laura Steele will remain behind bars as her appeal plays out. In a court hearing, a judge denied Steele's request for release after saying her lawyers didn't bring up any reasonable reason to let her out. She was convicted earlier this year for her role in the January 6th Capitol riots. A judge sentenced her to serve a year in prison, then 3 years on supervised release.
Florida man Duff Swan is being charged in connection to the Poplar Drive wildfire in Henderson County. The North Carolina Forest Service says the fire was sparked by burning debris on Swan's private property. Swan was cited and charged for not watching the fire. The wildfire has destroyed 1 home, 2 cabins, an uninhabitable mobile home and cabin, and 2 outbuildings.
One of the Triad's last remaining Mrs. Winter's restaurant closes this weekend. The Piedmont Restaurant Group is preparing to close the business in Kernersville on Mountain Street. In the past couple of months, the franchise has been closing and selling underperforming locations in the Triad. The group says it's planning to open franchises of Chicken Salad Chick in their place. The latest closure will make the Miss Winters in High Point the last Triad location standing.
Well, we've had a gorgeous day so far today. Lots of blue skies, only a couple of clouds, and temperatures as a result have been managing to climb back in the upper 60s to nearing around 70. Currently situated at 69 in Greensboro and in Burlington, 70 degrees in High Point and in Asheboro. A beautiful night to be out and about. Let's check on that 24-hour temperature change. Just yesterday, 10 to 15 degrees warmer thanks to that sunshine. Yesterday saw a little bit more clouds inhibiting that temperature growth. Next 12 hours. hours, we're back down into the 40s, waking up tomorrow a little bit cooler as we start to see a front move toward the area, enhancing more clouds in our skies. Only going to be making it into the middle and upper 60s, at most lower 70s once again. But after that, going to be a little bit cooler heading into the weekend behind that front. Also going to be pretty dry, although could see a sprinkle or two heading into the late Friday night, early Saturday morning period. More beneficial rainfall, though, is on the way. I've got more coming up in your full forecast.
Well, now is the time to start planning your Thanksgiving holiday travel. AAA expects nearly 1.43 million North Carolinians will drive 50 miles or more during the Thanksgiving holiday. Tiffany Wright with AAA says that's close to an all-time high set in 2005. If you're one of those drivers, good news. Wright says gas prices should remain low unless oil prices suddenly spike. The busiest day on the road and the airports is Wednesday. Wright suggests getting to the airport 2 to 3 hours early and leaving in the morning or after 6 p.m. to avoid heavy congestion if you are driving. If you can, wait until Thanksgiving Day.
Pretty much a ghost town on the road. So it's probably one of the safer times to be on the road. There's not, as much traffic. There's not as much congestion. So it just all depends on what your travel plans allow you to do.
Wright says during the holiday, AAA rescues anywhere from 10 to 14,000 stranded drivers in North Carolina. Her advice, inspect your car beforehand and leave early so you're not in a rush. You can find the best list of times and days to travel on our website. We'll be back after this.
All right, I am talking about Thanksgiving snafus and how to avoid some of the problems, this family drama.
Well, Thanksgiving is next week, which means there might be moments when family drama can cause holiday chaos. To help you de-escalate the tension, Blanca Cobb, our body language expert, has suggestions. Blanca, what do people tend to get wrong when dealing with annoyances and tension with family members?
A lot of times you might feel like you have to respond right now, respond immediately so they don't get the best of you. Or you think that that's the best way to de-escalate a situation. Not necessarily Look at it this way. You do not have to participate in an argument. You can actually take time to reflect on what they're saying, what you're hearing, how you're feeling, and how you want to respond. And the reason this is such a good tactic is because it gives everyone a moment to cool down, and it generally leads to more peaceful outcomes.
What should you do if you don't want to argue with someone who seems to be pushing your buttons?
Acknowledge that you've heard them and just let it go. You can say, hey, Aunt Jane, I heard what you have to say. I'm going to take a minute to think about it, and just walk away. Be polite, be nice, but turn around and walk away. So you're acknowledging her, and then you turn around and you walk away. You do not have to participate in an argument that you're invited to. What's going to happen is it's going to de-escalate, decrease the likelihood of a yelling match. It's going to yield in more peaceful moments.
And you say that perspective taking is important to help diffuse tension. Kind of explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, what happens is when you take somebody else's perspective and you try to see the situation from their point of view, doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you actually see the situation from their point of view, then it gives you some empathy. It gives you some understanding from where they're coming from. And that helps lead to better problem solving because you can actually see where they're coming from, where they're trying to go with what they're trying to say.
All right, Blanca, thank you so much. And like always, you can continue the conversation with her on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back.
Despite the lack of rain, firefighters are making progress on wildfires that have burned thousands of acres. Starting with the Colette Ridge fire, hundreds of firefighters are still working to put out those flames. Crews say isolated fires flared up yesterday, increasing the burned areas. The fire now spans over 5,400 acres and has been 80% contained. The Poplar Drive fire in Hendersonville is close to contained. Crews say it's at a 98% containment rate. The NC Forest Service Incident Management Team are expected to turn response efforts over to local units today. Another fire just across state lines continues to burn. Crews in Patrick County, Virginia have been able to contain 80% of the flames. It has burned nearly 1,200 acres so far. Containment lines are still being used to prevent further spread.
It has certainly been dry for quite a while. Of course, that is a factor in those fires being able to ignite and, of course, continue to spread. And in the triad, it's been 16 days of no rain. Last time we saw some notable rain odds, and even then 0.04 of an inch was on Halloween. The drought report continues to worsen. This was last week's, again released last Thursday. This is the updated one. Starting to see more severe drought now in western portions of the triad, and even extreme drought in portions of western North Carolina. Haven't seen D3 since March of 2017, so certainly has been dry these past couple of months. High-res futurecast as we head into the rest of tonight and into your Friday. Could see an isolated shower or two late Friday night and into Saturday, but main thing we are looking at is beneficial rain chances, and that isn't going to come until early next week as another front approaches the area. Monday into Tuesday could even bring an inch or two of rain. Again, more on that to come, but as for now, still remaining pretty dry into tomorrow, back in the 60s as that front crosses through the area. Upper 50s and lower 60s into the weekend, with rain chances slowly on the rise, especially Monday night and into Tuesday. Cooler as we head toward Thanksgiving.
Well, you know, the ongoing drought is not just impacting those wildfires. It's actually affecting bodies of water as well. For instance, at Jordan Lake in Chatham County, water levels are down a couple of feet. Kaylin Richards gives us a closer look.
Being surrounded by nature and water, two of the many reasons why people go to Jordan Lake. But recently, there's less water. Jordan Lake's normal water level is 216 feet above sea level. As of today, it's 212.
That is in drought conditions, so we have instituted our drought contingency plan since about August, which reduces our outflows from the dam to help maintain the water level here at Jordan.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers reports that here at Jordan Lake, the water is 4 feet below normal. Now here at the Farrington boat ramp, that's causing more people to have to go through sand before they even get their boat onto the water.
But it's not just sand people are seeing.
You may see some foundations of buildings or railroad tracks and that type of thing, which leads an interesting history.
Chief Ranger Shannon Manis says he encourages people to explore the area, but to leave behind what you find since it is part of the area's history.
Feel free to take a lot of photos and just leave your footprints behind. Just be cautious of where you're walking.
He says the watershed goes all the way to Greensboro, and unless the entire watershed gets water or rain, it's going to be low. The solution to this drought is simply just waiting for more rain.
But we still have to maintain the state minimum capacity of reducing those flows downstream while still maintaining wildlife habitat as well as water resources and allocations downstream from us as well.
Hear me. Hello, hello. Is my mic on now? There it is. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
After nearly 4 months, the actor strike has come to an end as actors await the deal to become official between the union and major studios. Many in the film industry are looking ahead to a busy new year as productions resume. Take a look at how Wilmington plans to profit.
In 2021, we had our peak in business, and productions here spent about $320 million. This year, we'll be lucky if productions spend somewhere around maybe $35 million.
Coming off a boom into a bust following a summer of strikes. Wilmington Regional Film Commission Director Johnny Griffin says many are excited as the writers and actors have reached agreements allowing productions to resume.
Obviously, the film people have not had a paycheck. There's local businesses that have had to lay people off because they've lost the film business, which is a piece of their business. So again, everybody's very excited to start to move forward.
Griffin says he feels Wilmington has done a lot to prepare for the return of productions, as Dark Horse Studios announced its expansion and Cinespace Studios purchased Screen Gems.
I think that's going to keep the eyes on Wilmington, and everybody will realize that, Wilmington must be a popular place if we've got new stages being built and companies coming in and acquiring existing stages. So I think that's going to be a positive thing for us.
While some productions could resume in just weeks, with none currently filming in Wilmington, Griffin says it will likely be early next year before projects get up and running in the port city.
We still have our sound stages. We've got great crew here, a great place to work that people really enjoy being. So again, all of those things are still in place, and every reason that people had to be here before, they still have to come in 24. So we think it's going to continue, and we think it's going to ramp back up again.
And our very own WFMY News 2's Manning Franks is here, the expert. You covered Dark Horse Studios out in Wilmington earlier this year. What do they have planned out there?
Well, first off, not in person. We don't have the budget for that, sadly.
Right.
I can't drive all the way to Wilmington. But I did. I was there to talk to one of the head of their company, Dark Horse Studios, and they have a brand new studio that they have created to try to attract some larger productions. Like back in the day, remember I think the biggest one we had back in the day was Iron Man 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that was shot.
Yeah, and so they're trying to say, hey, we have facilities, maybe not as big as LA or New York, but it's there in case you guys, ever want to come back in some way.
There have been some series. There's a CBS series called Under the Dome that was shot down in Southport, and so we've had some things over the years, not like it used to be, but hopefully it'll get back.
I'm from Georgia, and I used to live near a city called Covington, Georgia, and there they would film Vampire Diaries. So it would be really cool, whenever I would go, because usually folks would go back there to kind of watch fireworks because they have a big huge show. Well, no, it's just cool seeing the different sets that they used for the movie. They used a specific restaurant and all those different things. So I bet, my point I'm getting to, folks who live in Wilmington, I bet it's really cool knowing like, this was shot here, that was shot there,
I hope one day it's not just Wilmington, it's all of North Carolina. We'll be able to see the little piece.
That's a good point.
Pie.
Yeah.
But here's something history movie buffs can get excited for. A new movie is coming to Netflix covering one of the most pivotal movements in America. It follows activist Byron Rustin as he battles through adversity during the civil rights movement, all while organizing the 1963 March on Washington. Today, News 2 reviews the film Rustin. The March on Washington in 1963 is arguably the single largest event of the civil rights movement in modern history. 250,000 individuals from different creeds, races, religions, sexes, and sexuality came together under the banner of peace. But you don't think an event like that just happens overnight. No, it takes careful planning. And if you think you know the story of how the march was organized, you don't know anything if you don't know Byron Rustin.
I can handle all the grunt work. Rally the young. We are going to put together the largest peaceful protest made up of angelic troublemakers such as yourselves.
Inspired by the true story of Byron Rustin, the film Rustin chronicles the civil rights activists' coordination of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Rustin hopes to bring the fight against injustice to the forefront of American life. But when he faces both racism because of the color of his skin and homophobia because of who he loves, can Rustin ensure he's not erased from history? In terms of historical biopics, Rustin does an adequate job in laying out the groundwork for who Byron Rustin was without getting in the weeds of cradle-to-grave narratives. Instead, the film focuses on his important contributions to the civil rights movement, and director George C. Wolfe creates a strong visual cadence to the film that houses as much burning energy as the march itself, making this film the definition of short, sweet, and to the point. While we could wax poetic about Rustin as an historical figure, it's Coleman Domingo who portrays the civil rights activist as a complex human that makes this film truly worthwhile. Domingo imbues the man with an air of unspoken melancholy, masked by a quick wit and strong resolve, his smile beaming with infectious energy that makes his natural charisma shine through. It may be one of the best, if not the best, male performance of the year. Only time will tell. Rustin as a film is entertaining yet informative, and as a biopic is perfectly fine. Gets the job done. It would be getting a For You to Decide if it wasn't for the sheer magnetic force that is Coleman Domingo as Byron Rustin. Just like Rustin in the March on Washington in 1963, Domingo takes charge and marches forward with the whole film. Because of him, I'm giving Rustin a 2 approved. You can stream it only on Netflix.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric, Sydney, Claire, and Hunter with you on this Thursday, I have to think, because I keep thinking it's Friday.
I feel like this week we begin a little mixed up with our days. What's going on with us, guys?
Yeah, I think we're just all mentally on Friday.
There's nothing wrong with that sometimes.
A little Friday happiness.
A little Friday happiness, a little bit of joy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a forecast in just a minute, but we have some news to catch up with.
All right. Well, we begin with updates concerning the war in the Middle East. Help from North Carolina is on the ground in Israel. Samaritans Purse agreed to give Israel 21 ambulances as the war rages on. The organization's leader, Franklin Graham, met with Israeli Prime Minister actually yesterday.
The Boone-based aid group offered to set up emergency hospitals in both Israel and Gaza. Right now, they are helping churches in Gaza distribute food and medicine.
Meanwhile, Israel's army chief says troops are close to destroying the Hamas military system that exited in northern Gaza.
That comes as a deal for a temporary ceasefire could be near, with ongoing negotiations for the release of hostages. Skylar Henry has the latest from Washington.
The Israeli military says troops in Gaza recovered the body of one of the hostages seized by Hamas. Her remains found in a building near Al-Shifa Hospital. Soldiers have been combing through the hospital for 2 days and say they found a tunnel and weapons, as well as supplies in this MRI room.
There is an AK-47, there are cartridges, ammo, there are grenades in here, of course uniform, and all of this was hidden very conveniently, secretly behind the MRI machine.
Hamas denies the allegations. A spokesman in Qatar saying Israel's goal is to destroy Gaza's hospitals. CBS News has learned Israel is considering a proposal that includes a 3 to 5 day ceasefire in exchange for Hamas releasing kidnapped women and children. This man's grandson is among the hostages seized in the October 7th terror attack.
A kid of 4 years, for God's sake, save him. Let him go home now.
The White House says it's confident in its own intelligence. Hamas is using Gaza's biggest hospital as a command center and possibly a space to store weapons. But beyond the current crisis, President Biden says the conflict won't end until Israelis and Palestinians find a way to live side by side.
I can't tell you how long it's going to last, but I can tell you I don't think it ultimately ends until there's a two-state solution.
With the war in its 6th week, the State Department says it's in an active and ongoing conversation with Israel on how to protect civilians as it expands its military operations in Gaza.
And with fuel running low, Gaza's main telecom provider said internet and phone services have collapsed, threatening to add to the humanitarian crisis there.
The war between Israel and Hamas is leaving an impact all over the world, and for a Greensboro leader, the implications of the conflict are personal. Councilwoman Mary Kay Abuzawader's nephew lived in Gaza and died during an attack this week. She says Hassan Zuwader died in an airstrike 1 day before his 30th birthday. She believes the airstrike was targeting another home and hit his house instead. And the house where the family had a long history since the 40s is gone.
Actually, they were like so excited because this December I was supposed to go. And, you know, they've been fixing up the house and working, and Hassan and my son were, you know, talking to each other all the time, remaking those connections.
She said her nephew worked for the United Nations as a sports instructor and teacher and was also captain of the national volleyball team. He leaves behind a baby girl. She says communication with her family in Gaza is difficult due to limited resources, and she worries all communication could stop soon.
Absolutely devastating, keeping her family in prayer. Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Amazon is warning of an increase in scammers trying to gain access to customers' Prime accounts. The retailer says email attachment schemes have doubled in the second half of the year. If you receive an email from an Amazon customer representative asking you to verify an attachment, it's most likely a criminal posing a customer service representative.
Union workers at Starbucks are walking off the job to protest the company's stance on locations that choose to unionize. The move coincides with Red Cup Day, the annual event during which the coffee chain hands out holiday-themed reusable cups. The union, Starbucks Workers United, says the company has refused to negotiate in good faith over issues like staffing. In an email, Starbucks said it hopes the union's priorities will shift toward success of partners and working to negotiate contracts.
Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is pushing for legislation which would require app stores to get parental approval when users under 16 download applications. The proposal to shift underage user responsibility to companies like Google and Apple comes as Meta is facing lawsuits from parents claiming social media companies deliberately try to get teens addicted to their platforms.
For the first time, researchers say young people are more likely to vape than to smoke traditional cigarettes. That's according to a new survey that shows 56% of vapers ages 18 to 24 say they've never smoked traditional cigarettes. Experts warn even though health problems associated with vaping are less extreme than smoking, it's not harm-free. This comes as the U.S. is among 7 countries that account for the largest number of cancer deaths related to smoking tobacco. British researchers also determined that smoking, along with 3 other preventable risk factors, alcohol, obesity, and HPV infections, caused almost 2 million deaths each year.
Well, sunshine played a big role in the forecast today. Yesterday, cloud coverage only made it into the 50s. Today, seasonably warm. We're back in the upper 60s, even lower 70s. In some spots, 69 in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, as well as in Asheboro, 71 in Lexington. That's 12 hours. We're falling back down to the upper 40s and lower 50s. Tomorrow, going to be a very similar forecast to what we're seeing today, although increasing clouds throughout the day as we start to see a front close in on the area. So let's take it into Friday with isolated shower chances also in the mix later into Friday and into early on the day on Saturday. Overall, though, not expecting much, at least from this system, but another system is on the way. Beneficial rain is coming later on into the new work week, particularly late on Monday night and into Tuesday. We're going from the 60s this weekend back into the 50s early next week, lower 50s throughout the day on Thanksgiving.
Claire, thank you. You don't want to miss this. It's week 3 of our Panthers ticket giveaway. All you have to do is answer the trivia questions on our website, and it doesn't matter if you get them right or wrong. Since we are the official station for the Carolina Panthers, the winners will get 2 tickets to a game plus a swag pack. Trivia for the week 3 giveaway closes tomorrow at 3.
Hear myself. Hello, hello. I kept on talking. Yes, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
a mic? Hey, wait, I can give her a microphone. But all right, so today is National Thawing Day. If your bird is in the freezer, it's time to take it out. Tanya says when? Tanya, the Thursday when?
That's right. The Thursday before Thanksgiving is designated as thawing day because you need to make sure that your turkey is thawed out. Like there's nothing worse than in like a partially thawed turkey. I know
that just sounds really gross.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
Sounds dangerous too.
That's true. Okay, so there are lots of bad habits that people have passed down over the years. All right, and 2 wants to know went straight to the source, the Butterball Turkey Hotline operators.
I had a lady once that said she had her flashlight, and her mother said that she had to clean out the turkey. She called us because she couldn't find anything to clean out. The Butterball turkeys are beautiful. They come ready for you to roast. There is a neck in the body of the cavity, and don't forget the giblets. Lots of people do, and they think they've ruined Thanksgiving because it went through the cooking process. Don't worry about that. That's up by the neck. You could just pat the turkey dry with some paper towels. You don't even have to give it a bath. It's clean. It's fine.
Okay, that's what they're talking about with bad habits that have been passed down. Giving the turkey a bath. Washing it. A lot of people think they need to wash it, like they need to wash a whole chicken and that kind of stuff. But I want you to think about it this way. You have uncooked poultry inside your sink, and there's water splashing everywhere, and it's splashing all the salmonella everywhere.
Yeah, I'm grinning.
Don't wash the turkey.
I'm grinning right now because I got into this debate because of you. We talked about chicken not too long ago.
Yes.
And I was like, you don't wash the chicken. Tanya said so.
You don't wash the chicken, you don't wash the turkey. That's
I
for
found
sure.
that out later in life because my mother did it.
Of course.
And so then I started doing it, and I remember my wife going, I don't think that's safe. And we Googled it. Oh, okay.
Right. I mean, and there's a lot of things that have been passed down over the years that grandparents did and whatever else. Oh, they always did it this way.
Yep.
But you know what? We've now learned some things that maybe we don't need to do those things, right? No offense, Mom. No offense, Grandma.
You guys have great tips otherwise, right?
That's right. That's right. Now, here's the thing. Just like anything else, you have to learn how to cook a turkey, right? We do not know how to know these things, right? We don't come out of the womb knowing how to cook a turkey. No. Which is why the Butterball Hotline got started decades ago. This year, like in the years past, the hotline will be open, and you can call, text. You can even do a live chat online.
We're here to lend a hand and give great tips. Sometimes the holidays can be really stressful. And the great thing about Butterball, the Butterball Talk Line, we've been doing this for about 40 years now. And although we're offering cooking tips, recipes, and things all surrounding Thanksgiving, we also lend some emotional support.
The Butterball Hotline experts join us from 5:30 until 6 o'clock tonight. They're going to talk about their best recommendations, and they're taking your text questions. So maybe you don't even have to get, caught up in the hotline. You just need to get caught up right now at 5:30 with your text question about your turkey.
Very interesting. And so with Thanksgiving a week out, I asked you on Facebook, what 3 things must be on your Thanksgiving plate? And believe me, when I say there were a lot of responses, Janice said stuffing, turkey, green bean casserole, got a new recipe this year. Anna said dressing, turkey, mac and cheese. Greg, mac and cheese, deviled eggs, and country ham. Richard said cranberry sauce, cornbread, dressing and gravy. Andre said mac and cheese, collard greens, and pineapple upside down cake. And Curtis said, as long as mac and cheese is there, I don't really care that much.
Great answer.
I know. For me, it'll be mac and cheese, turkey, and mac and cheese all over.
Oh, a double mac and cheese.
I love mac and cheese so much.
I do too. I do too, but if I had to pick the 3, it's turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing. But man, I love mac and cheese. But I have to, that's Thanksgiving to me though.
Yeah, I want the turkey, I want the mashed potatoes and the gravy.
Yes.
Right, so, but mashed potatoes and gravy to me are like together, right? And turkey's one.
Mm-hmm.
And then because Puerto Rican, we have red beans and rice. Like if we don't have the red beans like we normally have, it still is not like a family meal.
Listen, I can't pick 3. Like that's just not fair.
It's very hard to pick 3.
I need my mom's salad. I need my grandma's crab dip for appetizers. Like we
crab dip.
Oh,
she kicks it up a notch.
I'm gonna tell you what, she is so good at cooking. It's so bad. It gets in your mouth and you
she
eat it.
She needs to come here, and we need to have a Friendsgiving.
Yes.
Hey, Nana, you out there? She will watch this, so she, hey, she'll come on down.
Perfect.
Well, don't miss this. Several Triad organizations are giving out free Thanksgiving meals starting this weekend. On Saturday, there will be Thanksgiving giveaways at Cedar Grove Tabernacle of Praise and the W.D. Mohammed Islamic Center in Greensboro. Both are Saturday morning and they are first come, first serve. Then next week, Lawndale Baptist Church in Greensboro hosts their event, Feeding the 5,000. Each family will get a turkey and a $25 gift card from Food Lion. It's on Tuesday and starts at 6:30 in the morning. Now, organizers say this is a popular event, so they are asking that you don't line up before the start time.
There are also several businesses that are offering meal deals for those who want to keep it simple this year. We've made it easy for you. All you have to do is text the word turkey to 336-379-5775. That's to get a full list of meal deals that are available all across the Triad. We'll be back.
Well, tonight the ghosts that started it all are crossing the pond for the U.S. network premiere of Ghosts UK.
Yeah, we're so excited about this show. That's the excitement you heard. The British series, which premiered in 2019 and inspired the hit CBS version, brings comedy, chaos, and all matters of life and death. Check out this behind the scenes look.
Ghosts is a haunted house sitcom which follows
a group of very unfortunate dead people
forced to live in the same space for eternity.
And then two living people are thrown into that situation
And that's kind of the random element which throws their status quo up into the air.
This is 100% the most incredible moment of my life, apart from my wedding.
It's all ours. What did that girl just say? She must be related to you. What is Ghosts?
Ghost is a show about a young, cool couple.
Okay.
Does it look nice? That's potpourri. We are cool, right?
Yeah, that's to be decided, I guess.
Who inherit a old country manor house.
From this great aunt that I've never met, and I'm the last remaining relative that she has. Our plan is to turn it into a hotel, but we get scuppered by different things.
I've never used that word.
Scuppered?
That is a good word.
Do you want to try it now?
Yeah. We get scuppered.
Scuppered.
Kill him.
I quite agree.
I fall out of the window, or am I pushed? I'm pushed out the window. And the last thing I think I see is all these people gathering in the window. Alison wakes up and can see the ghosts, but Kyle's character can't.
I get it. I'm scared too. It's just us in this big old house, so there's nothing to be scared of, is there? I witness Alison running around talking to people that I can't see.
Mission accomplished. I admit your existence. Now what the hell do you want?
Okay, you're officially freaking me out.
They've never had anybody in here before that they can communicate with, so this is a whole new realm for them, all of them.
So I'm really excited. Thomas fancies Alison.
Let me pluck out my eyes, for never will I see such beauty again.
And Pat is just sort of excited to welcome Alison.
Hello! And welcome! On behalf of me and my fellow dead people, may I just say, straight onto the tour, okay?
Apart from that, most of the ghosts just don't really want anyone else on their turf, and they're very suspicious of what they're going to be doing there.
Daddy gonna drop a hole in the wall.
Daddy's not drilling any holes in any...
Yeah, I think they just don't want things to be disturbed, do they?
Get out, 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 get out.
Oh, what a lovely series.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be fuming
I
if
wish I wasn't in
on
it, because then I could said the opposite things. But just because then you can watch it without knowing what's happening. No, I'm literally thrilled to be in it. I'm not even joking.
Well, that seems pretty conclusive. She can also hear us.
Even if I could have a sixth sense,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
I know. I would leave
No.
immediately and
Yep.
hoping that they only stay, like, if I leave, that you can't, they can't come out of off the property or something. Hopefully, that's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Well, this premieres right here on WFMY News 2 at 9, by the way, and you can stream it also live and on demand on Paramount Plus. I am so excited for this because this reminds me of the US version that we have here, and I love this show. My mom got me addicted to it, and it is hysterical. Think of like The Office mixed with like almost a spook, but not.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Beetlejuice meets The
Yeah.
Office.
So if you don't like scary movies, you still might like this.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
it's
Oh,
not-
100%,
okay.
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
So we'll be okay, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
We'll be okay. We might
Yeah.
have a laugh, in fact.
Actually
okay?
laugh.
Yeah.
Actually laugh. It is very funny.
It's good.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that forecast clear.
Today, absolutely gorgeous. We ended up sneaking up into the upper 60s and lower 70s, and tomorrow a very similar weather story. We're back in the upper 60s before we start to cool off into the weekend. Could see an isolated shower or two late Friday night and into Saturday. Beneficial rain chances not coming until early next week thanks to another system approaching. As for your turkey planter, although we are a week out, this is what you can expect as of right now. Again, subject to change given we are a week out. Starting off in the morning, going to be pretty cool in the upper 30s, back into the middle 50s toward the afternoon.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
I'm actually ready today. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California.
When she left for the night, and police say the bar will not be cited. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, check.
I'm thinking about that.
Right, right.
It wasn't the word joke that I was trying to think of.
Hello. Firefighters everywhere are likely applauding a new state law that will provide them some help if and when they're diagnosed with a career-related cancer. First, that's quite the statement. If and when they get cancer related to their jobs. As if fighting fires wasn't dangerous enough, now they have to worry about getting cancer from it. Just last week, we reported state lawmakers passed a bill providing cancer coverage benefits to firefighters. We also learned the most dangerous part about firefighting isn't fire itself. Cancer is now the #1 killer of firefighters. Maybe equally as shocking, firefighting gear itself contains toxic chemicals. Let me make that clear. The gear they're using to protect themselves from fires is actually poisoning them in a different way. Over the past year, we have reported on Robert Swink, a former Greensboro firefighter who died last October from cancer. His cancer was considered occupational, meaning it was caused by repeated exposure to cancer-causing chemicals while on the job. So my question, if we knew all of this information about these other dangers associated with fighting fires, why did it take so long to pass a bill to provide support? We recently interviewed a Greensboro fire captain who lost his brother, also a firefighter, to occupational cancer. He named 2 other friends who had the same fate. And he told us he was happy the bill passed, but it was too little too late. I don't know what needs to happen next to help firefighters, but we need to do everything we can to protect the people who spend their entire careers protecting us. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
It's been a record-breaking year of crime for Greensboro. 65 people killed so far this year.
And now Greensboro's police chief is revealing new details about the investigation into a shooting that rocked the Dudley High School community. WFMY